Hey guys, it's Marta. Welcome to November Garden. Is November the month that we turn the key and we say this is the end of the garden season, or we will just have enough time to work again in November, do some garden jobs? I think we can. Let's go. Okay, you will not believe, but yesterday on my Instagram stories I was showing how I was mowing, or maybe like more gathering the leaves on my lawn, and it was perfectly green, not even one leaf inside. That was yesterday at 4 p.m. Today we have like the midday and the lawn is full of leaves. This is of course normal because this is November and the leaves will be falling. Today we have quite strong wind and you will see leaves falling and falling. And what do you do with them? Do you wait for all of them to drop, or do you gather them day by day? Our garden is surrounded by a lot of birch trees. They are quite old, they are 35 years old, so the amount of leaves in our garden is really huge. I am mostly getting my attention on my lawn because this year I had some fungal diseases on the lawn. We had a lot of problems with the grass, so I am very concentrated on gathering the leaves as I can. Whenever we have a nice day, a dry day, I go with the rakes or with my lawn mower and I gather all of the leaves that I can, because when they are lying on the grass and it's moist or it's raining, the fungal diseases can affect the whole season that we'll have next year. When I gather the leaves with my lawn mower or when I'm raking them, I usually put them in my compost, but my compost is now full. I was throwing the leaves yesterday and it was really full. What else can you do with the leaves? You can do the leaf mold. Last year I was showing you in a video exactly how I do it, so I will link that video here. Just to remind you, I gather all of the leaves, I put them in plastic bags, like the bags I use for garbage, but strong ones. I make some holes with a knife in them. I put a bit of moisture in those and I put them behind my gazebo. They stay there for at least a year, and then you get a perfectly friable light material that you can use, for example, for sowing your annuals or adding it to your soil, to the garden, so it makes it more light. But some of you may say, Marta, I don't want to use any plastic bags. I'm trying to lower the amount of plastic I'm using. Very good. So then what do you do? If you don't have a compost heap, you might do what I do. Sometimes we have so many leaves that I don't know what to do with them, and I found a space in my garden. It is like we have the ground is uneven and I want it to be even. So I usually, when I mow my grass, or sometimes I will take some parts of my perennials, I will just dump it all there. And this is like in a natural forest. The leaves fall down, everything there just dies down naturally. And I've been doing that for 2 years, and the pile is growing and growing, and then it's reducing, because this is what composting does. And the ground there will be very rich in humus, so my birches will be very happy because this space is between my yew and my birches. You can also use the leaves and maybe sticks to make a space for wild animals like hedgehogs. I have a space like that there. So this is a wild part of my garden. Here I leave all of the branches that were broken. I will put some leaves from the birches and maybe from my magnolia. They are bigger. We built a pile of sticks and leaves, and this is a space where a hedgehog can hide. Hedgehog can hide. We've had hedgehogs over the years and they come here for the winter, and I'm always trying to be very careful when cleaning in the spring, and I leave those for the last moments because they wake up quite late, and it's quite cute. We always try to capture them, leaving some cameras and see if they are there. So that is a very nice thing you can do for nature to help wild animals survive the winter. Okay, now let's go to the less wild part of the garden when I'm planning some jobs for November. November is a perfect time to plant your bulbs. Here I have some tulip bulbs. I've been planting bulbs for several years now, and I think November is better than October. My personal experience, but I really stick to that. Those planted in November are the best tulips I've had, and the weather is in the past few years really perfect for that. So the next few days I will be drilling and drilling because I'm using an auger, and it makes it so much faster because in one day I can plant around 400 bulbs, so that is a really fast way of planting them. We'll be doing a whole video about tulip planting, but I wanted to show you this auger that I have. I really love it. It's so simple, it's quite heavy, but still the work goes so quickly compared to what I've done with the handheld thing using it. I always had strain in my wrist or in my feet when I was pushing that one. This one is definitely faster. November is a perfect time to shear your perennials. You don't have to do it. I do it because I like planting my bulbs and I don't like to have too much work in spring. There's always too much work in spring, but if I can take and do something earlier, like in the fall, I prefer to do it now. So I shear down all of my perennials, the old ones. If I have a new one, I will leave the foliage, the dying foliage, for the winter, but with all the old ones I am shearing them down to the ground. Then I have a space to plant with bulbs. I can take away all of the weeds and I don't have to do it in spring. It is also a perfect time to replant or divide your perennials. I used to think November is too late, but then I started doing that because I've had so much work, then I had to do it in November and I had great results. For those of you who've been with us last year, you know that I planted my front border in almost the third week of November, and as you've seen this year, all of the plants survived. They rooted in really well, so I think it is also a good time to plant new plants and to replant and divide others, especially if you did not have the time to do it in October. So if you still have the time and the weather is fine, just do it. So these catmins are the oldest catmins in my garden, and I shear them every year in November or October, and then I have a great space to plant some of the bulbs. I'm planting some tulips today. Planting tulips is one of the greatest things you can do in November. I really love it. Sometimes I don't even leave the names of what I've planted because I want to have a surprise in the spring. I'm planting a lot of them, and then when I get out in May or even April, I'm like, that was a nice idea, Marta, because I don't remember what I planted where, and I really love it. I am really happy about my Virginia creeper because we have years that we do not reach the time when it turns red. Sometimes it's just burgundy, then we get some frost and the leaves fall. And this year was the perfect development of color. We had green all year long, then the chlorophyll subsided, then we had beautiful burgundy, and then in the last days it turned beautiful, beautiful red. I really love when that happens. This is an incredible vine. You really need to work on it because it's so prolific. It will produce a lot of stems and leaves, but when the color turns in autumn, I really love this. Guys, please let me know in the comments, how is November in your gardens? You of course live in different zones than I do. Let me know how your November looks like, because Polish November used to be very gloomy and very rainy. It's been changing in the past few years. We get some nice weather like today. We have some sun, quite nice temperatures like 12, 14 degrees. So that is really nice to work in the garden. In previous years, that was not always the case. So whenever I have a day like this, I love to go into the garden and work. And I'm really curious about what you do in November and how November looks like in your garden. If you like today's video, please give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and we'll see you in the next one.